History of Pope Leo XIV, Robert Francis Prevost. Childhood and youth. Robert Francis Prevost was born on September 14, 1955, in Chicago, Illinois. He grew up on the city's south side in a devout Catholic family. His father, of French and Italian descent, was a teacher and catechist, and his mother, of Spanish origin, worked as a librarian. From childhood, he was actively involved in the local parish, St. Joseph's on Chicago's south side. As an altar boy, he received his primary education at the parish school and completed his high school studies at a local seminary school. In 1977, he earned a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics from Villanova University, Pennsylvania, an institution steeped in the Augustinian tradition. This solid academic and religious background prepared Prevost for his future clerical vocation. Religious vocation. After graduating in 1977, Prevost entered the novitiate of the Order of St. Augustine. He made his solemn profession of vows in 1981. He completed his theological studies in the United States, graduating with a Master of Divinity from the Catholic Theological Union in Chicago, completing this training between 1978 and 1981. A year later, in 1982, he was ordained a priest. He later moved to Rome to specialize in canon law, earning both his licentiate and doctorate in that field from the Pontifical University of St. Thomas Aquinas Angelicum. His solid academic background, mathematics, theology, and canon law, and his religious commitment led him to assume leadership responsibilities in his order. Pastoral and academic career. In 1985, Prevost was sent as a missionary to Peru, thus beginning decades of service in Latin America. His first mission was in Cholucanas, Piura region, where he served as parochial vicar of the cathedral and secretary-chancellor of the territorial prelature. During this time, he was intensely dedicated to evangelization and the formation of local vocations. In 1988, he briefly returned to Chicago as vocation director for the local Augustinian province, but soon afterward returned to Peru, where he directed the Augustinian seminary in Trujillo and taught canon law at the diocesan seminary. His fluency in Spanish and his familiarity with the local culture earned him esteem among the faithful. In 1999, he was elected prior provincial of the Augustinian province of Chicago, and in 2001 he assumed the office of prior general of the Order of St. Augustine worldwide, a position he held until 2013. In these roles of ecclesial governance, Prevost acquired a global perspective of the Church and established connections with religious leaders around the world. His international leadership demonstrated his administrative and pastoral ability. On December 12, 2014, Pope Francis appointed him titular Bishop of Sufar and Apostolic Administrator of the Diocese of Chiclayo, Peru. In 2015, he was consecrated bishop and fully assumed the role of Bishop of Chiclayo, a position he held until 2023. During those years, he continued his pastoral and administrative work in northwestern Peru. He also served as Apostolic Administrator of the Archdiocese of Callao from April 2020 to May 2021. During his episcopate, Prevost earned great popular affection. The Peruvian government even noted that he was an adopted Peruvian due to his long mission in the country. Thanks to his services, he obtained dual U.S. and Peruvian citizenship, naturalized. As Prefect of the Dicastery for Bishops, one of the most influential positions in the Roman Curia. This office advises the Pope on the selection of new bishops for the entire world, enabling the prefect to build relationships with the global hierarchy. During his tenure, Prevost promoted reforms, for example, the inclusion of women as voting members in the dicastery, and traveled frequently to Rome to meet with bishops on ad limina visits. In that position, he was instrumental in Francis's episcopal reform, helping to elect dozens of Latin American, European, and African prelates. In September 2023, he was created a cardinal by Francis in recognition of his long service. That same year, he also chaired the Pontifical Commission for Latin America, strengthening his ties to the region where he served as a missionary. Vatican sources emphasize that Prevost, as Prefect of Bishops, contributed to making the worldwide episcopal appointment more correct and fruitful. His fluency in English, Spanish, Italian, French, and Portuguese also facilitated his role as a cultural bridge in the governance of the Church. After 4 ballots, only 24 hours in total, the white smoke appeared over the Sistine Chapel. At 7:12 p.m., Rome, Cardinal Dominique Mamberti announced, Habemus Papam. The 267th Pope elected is Robert F. Prevost, who took the name of Leo XIV. At 69 years old, Prevost became the first North American pontiff in the history of the Church. Shortly after, he appeared on the central balcony of St. Peter's, wearing the white papal cassock, and waved a raised hand to the thousands of faithful gathered in the square. In his first public message, Pope Leo XIV spoke in several languages. He began with the traditional Easter greeting, "Peace be with you," explaining that this was the greeting of the Good Shepherd who has risen. He affirmed that the Church must remain a missionary church, a bridge builder, and welcoming to all without exception. These words reflected his emphasis on synodality and closeness to the people, continuing the pastoral style of his predecessor. The following day, he presided over his first Mass in the Sistine Chapel and gave his first Urbi et Orbi blessing from the main altar of St. Peter's, exhorting Christians to bear witness to the faith even when it is considered absurd by society. Leo XIV's election was met with global reactions. World leaders congratulated the new pope, calling him a messenger of peace in difficult times. Many Latin American leaders expressed particular enthusiasm. The fact that Prevost was an adopted son of Peru and of Chicago sparked jubilation in the streets of Lima, Mexico City, and New York. For example, President Dina Boluarte of Peru greeted him, noting the historical pride of having a pope who was a bishop in her country. Celebrations also erupted in Chicago and other Catholic communities in the United States, highlighting the global perspective he will bring to the leadership of the Church. Papal name and symbolism. When his name, Leo XIV, was announced, a clear symbolic message was interpreted. Some observers recalled that Pope Leo XIII, 1878 to 1903, was famous for mediating between the Church and emerging modernity. In this sense, Prevost's election was seen as an intention to act as a conciliatory pontiff, committed to dialogue between Catholic traditions and contemporary challenges. Prevost himself, in his first speech, alluded to the symbol of the lion and the Good Shepherd, emphasizing that the Lord loves us all unconditionally and that the Church must be a home open to all. The figure of the lion in Christianity symbolizes strength, courage, and leadership. Historically, 13 previous popes have borne the name Leo, the most famous being Leo the Great, 5th century, for his doctrinal defense, and Leo XIII for his social teachings. By taking the name Leo XIV, Prevost signaled the hope for a pontificate strong in faith but open to the world. Early signs suggest that his papacy will prioritize peace and care for the marginalized, continuing the missionary vision that has characterized his ministry. Overall, his papal name alludes to a historic legacy of conciliation and renewal, raising expectations for a synodal pontificate oriented toward global peace.
Thank you for watching our video. Subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Give it a like, comment your thoughts, and share this video with your friends and family.